Hello, this is Lauren speaking, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be looking at George Orwell, his birth chart, as well as the novel 1984, and why he may have chosen the year 1984, looking at the astrology, which is quite interesting. There's a lot of theories out there, or some hypotheses as to why he chose 1984, but it's very curious when you look at the astrology that it's quite convincing. I'll also be looking at some events that went on in his life, and particularly when the day he died, just 7 months after the publication of 1984, the novel. Whether he knew about astrology, whether he used astrology, whether he, let's say, spoke with somebody who would have informed him about astrology, it's very interesting. Let's take a look here at the year of 1984. What we're going to see here is a rare occurrence, meaning that we've got 3 outer planets that are changing or ingressing into the next sign. This does not happen very often. We're in a period right now where this is going on over a several-year period. However, back in 1984, as you'll see, we have Saturn ingressing into Scorpio. We have the planet Pluto ingressing into Scorpio, which, keep in mind, Pluto rules Scorpio, so there's a lot of strength there with Pluto and Scorpio. And also, Neptune was ingressing into the sign of Capricorn. Now, if we just look at some symbology of this, well, Pluto is force and control. In the sign of Scorpio, it is highly secretive, private, issues of getting to the bottom of things, surveillance, spying, this kind of thing. Keep in mind as well that in Orwell's life, he was under surveillance and suspicion by the British government since 1936 up until 12 years, 1 year before he passed away, up until 1948. And so through his own life experiences, it's not unusual that he would choose this kind of a year had he known about or been using astrology. When you put Neptune in the sign of Capricorn, well, Capricorn rules over governments and authorities, and Neptune is confusing, bewildering, can be absolutely deceptive. And so between Capricorn and Scorpio, we understand how the themes of his book, 1984, would absolutely coincide with the year of 1984. As well, had he lived until the year 1984, where he would have been 81 years old, well, look at his chart. He is a Scorpio rising. He would have both Saturn and Pluto conjunct his ascendant. And not only that, but he would have transiting Neptune in the early degrees of Capricorn, opposing both his sun and his moon. I mean, honestly, any astrologer would have let him know that that would be one of the most probably, let's say, important years for life events. Absolutely no doubt about it. What would have gone on had he lived until 1984. Now, also, what I found very interesting is the chart of when he passed away. Just 7 months after the publication of 1984, in June 1949, he passed away on January 21st, 1950. In that chart, if we take a look at the day that he passed away, January 21st, 1950. Well, notice at the bottom, let's start at the bottom of the chart. We've got Jupiter precisely opposed his midheaven at the fourth house cusp. And of course, we don't predict death in astrology, but oftentimes Jupiter can be involved, and the fourth house can be significant for the ending of matter. So, or matters, we could say. Also, at the top of the chart, we've got precisely transiting Pluto conjunct Venus, and Venus does rule his 12th house of critical illness, and of course he had a lot of health issues with bronchitis and tuberculosis, because in the 1940s, it was World War II, and also he had been involved in the Spanish Civil War. And so if you watch my video on the lungs, death, fright, conflict, very common with lung issues with people involved in World War II. At any rate, another interesting fact in this chart is that this is kind of uncanny, is that if you look at the 12th house, where he had natally transiting Mars conjunct the North Node, well, on the day he passed, he was having a Mars return transiting Mars conjunct Mars. And not only that, but the North Node and the South Node, but let's say the North Node, was exactly in opposition to the natal North Node, okay? So that's also sort of a, could be a destiny type measurement, but that's pretty uncanny to have a hookup between natal Mars and the North Node, and then the day you die, transiting Mars and the North Node. And over there near the Sun, his natal Sun, we can see that transiting Uranus had just, or was conjunct his Sun, natal Sun. So there's just a lot of unusual astrology. This is why astrology is so fascinating. You can't make this type of thing up. All the uncanny astrological positions going on here. So, of course, we'll never know. It's a great mystery as to what or why he died. It's not unusual when you have somebody who has written controversial novels, has been under surveillance for 12 years, spied on, etc., not just in the UK, but also in Spain when he was involved with the Spanish Civil War, that he would suddenly die. So at any rate, I would propose or hypothesize that the astrology is extremely strong for him using the year of 1984. And of course, astrology is not, probably back then, who knows whether he knew about it and didn't talk about it, or whatever the case may be. But I think that it's sort of uncanny that in 1984, 3 outer planets are ingressing into 2 signs. You put together Capricorn and Scorpio, well, that would be government surveillance. So it makes complete sense. At any rate, just a little fun fact here with Orwell's chart, and hope you enjoyed this, learned something from it, and appreciate you watching this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and see you on the next video. Bye-bye now.